Thank you. That's the great work that we see our students achieving and our community partners joining us on. Thank you very much for that work. We'll now move on to public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. We have 17 registered speakers today. Citizens, I will remind you that first you must speak on the topic for which you've been registered. The board will listen to your comments but cannot address your comments. At the sound of the buzzer, you may complete your final sentence only. You may not relinquish any part of your speaking time to another registered or unregistered individual. You are encouraged to use titles rather than names, for example, board member, CEO, executive director, etc. If you do have a written copy of your statement, please leave it to the right of the microphone stand so that we can have it for our public record. And your adherence to these guidelines will help enable the public comment process to move smoothly. We'll begin with speakers registered for agenda items, all for agenda item 9.0, and we will begin with Paul Shackelford speaking on options for Turning Point Academy. Mr. Shackelford.
Thank you. Can you give me some more time? Okay. The first time that I spoke, I mentioned that part of our reason for founding Turning Point Academy was to get out in front of the 9th graders that repeat and then drop out of school, creating the well-known pipeline to prison. We wanted to do our part to eliminate that trend here in Prince George's County, and we have and are doing so. We've attended graduations at Bowie State, A&T, University of Maryland, and others, and heard students that graduated from Prince George's County state that they got good grades, but they had to take remedial classes when they were freshmen. So that's why we want to add the 9th to the 12th grades. I have personally seen properties in Prince George's County with Dr. Crawley. He was the interim superintendent, and before he left, we both thought that John Carroll would have been a great fit for us, but that just didn't work out because there were other plans for that building. We've seen over 50 buildings to purchase. We've placed letters of intent to purchase those buildings, but we've been outbid. What would really help us is a 5-year renewal to be able to secure bond financing. We already have secured $600,000 in business lines of credit, but we've never been in a situation where we needed to use that money because we budget properly, even though we provide busing. We've had several charter renewals, and they have all gone very well. There were never any problems mentioned. As a matter of fact, during the 2014 renewal process, it was noted by Prince George's County that TPA provides a unique educational offering for Prince George's County students, remains faithful to its charter, and maintains its finances according to standards. And that's a direct quote from the folks that reviewed us. And it still exists today. We have submitted a plan that addresses governance capacity as it relates to academic goals and facility acquisition to address the concerns about a new building. We have asked if you would work together and build on the Fairwood property with us that has 15 acres for a school, and if not, could we possibly help by renovating Woodmore Elementary if and when it is vacated by the county? These are just a couple thoughts we had moving forward. I've had conversations with the Fairwood chairman of the board. Okay, thank you. And to help with the equity of that type of project. We have the largest farms in any of the Prince George's County charter schools, roughly about 70% of our students, 70%. and we are the only charter school that provides busing for our students. I negotiated that contract with the bus service, and so it is family friendly. This means a lot to our parents that depend on this level of help to survive economically,
Thank you, Mr.
realizing
Shackelford.
that this is a huge benefit that they are receiving due to our board of directors and my negotiations.
Thank you, Mr. Shackelford.
Can I finish this last
Last sentence, yes, last sentence, sir.
Thank you so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. So we're asking that your votes to approve our plan to keep TPA open and our board of directors in place, and also to keep me in place as the executive director for the renewal period of 5 years to take TPA to excellence.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Deborah Shackelford.
Thank you. My name is Deborah Shackelford, one of the founders of Turning Point Academy. I am here today to request that you renew our charter with the county. We submitted our charter renewal documents on time. Time constraints today prevent me from addressing all the accusations that have been railed against us from the Charter Review Board. I urge you to look at our accomplishments to determine if you think these can be accomplished without the competent, dedicated team. Turning Point Academy is the only charter school to offer free busing. Currently, we have over 600 students, a waiting list of over 1,000. 70% of our population served are farms. Our 8th graders are outperforming county and state. Our 8th graders have typically been with us for 2 years or more. Fiscally, we are fiscally sound for all 11 years of operation. These type of accomplishments do not happen without great leadership. Board member complement includes lawyers, engineers, teachers, accountants, lending specialists, and the former Prince George's County Public Schools Director of Security, most of which have served on other boards and are well acquainted with what is required to serve on a board. One of our board members have sponsored a STEM and robotics seminar to take place next month for our 5th through 8th graders. Our executive director is the face of the board. He ensures that all decisions concerning the school are executed. He pays the vendors, oversees building maintenance, establishes community relationship, ensures that all legal documents concerning TPA are filed. He negotiates our contracts and oversees jobs to ensure that the product was delivered. He has ensured that TPA is fiscally sound and is also responsible for recovering hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding from the county. Our request for charter renewal was delivered, and some amendments were requested. We did all the requested amendments, and at that time, the review board made it known that it was our choice whether we wanted to make the changes or not. All they do is recommend whether or not they will say we can keep the school to the school board, but it is the Prince George's County School Board that makes the decision to close TPA. Board structure was amended 8 months ago per their recommendation. All documents that were requested were also provided. In March, the review board informed TPA of their intent to close the school. They stated low test scores, no curriculum writer on the board, and transportation funds should have been used for a facility. Hours later, the review board went to our teachers and told the teachers the same thing, except they cited inadequate board governance. We are more than capable of caring for our students. It's evident. Our students are exemplary. We ask that you please renew the charter, keep our board intact, and our executive director. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Terry Floriot.
My name is Terry Floriot, and I am the mother of 3 children at TPA in kindergarten, 4th, and 5th grade. As a means of supporting the school, I joined the TPA board in 2015. I'm here to express my pressing desire that TPA remain open and operational under the leadership of TPA Foundation. I believe that the framework on which TPA was founded is solid and that the foundation can take TPA to the next level. I believe that a drastic change in leadership at this vulnerable stage would do more harm than good and would come at an exorbitant cost. Members of the TPA board and staff have been working diligently to craft a proposal for moving forward that would effectively address the concerns outlined by the administrative team, as well as position the school to excel in academics, to further meet the terms of its charter, and to relocate to another facility. Some elements of the proposal include, number one, governance, to restructure the board with a framework that involves board members, parents, staff, teachers, and experts that embodies transparency and focuses on results. We would implement a no excuses environment where the bar is raised, increase capacity by aggressively seeking skilled professionals to participate on the board, increase accountability in terms of participation and structure, increase training, and establish strong expectations for results. We would adjust the format to establish committees for projects. One example would be the evaluation committee, which would have the responsibility of conducting a robust mid-year and annual review of the executive director. A new strategic plan has been drafted, and concerns regarding any conflicts of interest were addressed last summer. Number two, facility acquisition. We would acquire a new facility in central PG County that would adequately meet the needs of our students and improve their learning environment. By establishing a facilities committee, which would have the responsibility of locating and securing a new facility, as well as establishing a fundraising committee with the sole purpose of raising funds for that new facility. Number three is academics, to provide additional support and analyses to address achievement gaps. Ultimately, we are committed to acting in the best interests of the staff, students, and parents of TPA. Please consider adopting the proposal where TPA continues to operate under the leadership of Turning Point Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Florio. Our next speaker is Kevin Shea, speaking on Turning Point Academy.
Good evening. My name is Kevin C.A., and I'm currently one of the 6th and 8th grade math teachers. Ardmore Elementary, New Hope Academy, Longfield Elementary, Walker Mill, Queen Anne School, Bishop McNamara High School. I stand before you a proud product of Prince George's County. Though I'm not strictly a product of the public school system, I am a product of the collective educational community in this county. My parents wanted the absolute best educational environment for me to become my best self. They worked tirelessly to find a place where I was challenged intellectually and supported both emotionally and socially. The parents who form our community found a school that challenges its students to become better academically and spiritually. I got into teaching because of the things I witnessed and experienced. I grew up hearing each one reach one, over and over. My experiences have ingrained the painful lesson that you can't save everyone. However, I have dedicated my life to doing the best that I can for all that I can for as long as I can. My students had the opportunity to find a home here at Turning Point Academy. Many have been students here for 5 or more years. Even those who joined our family as recently as this year have become another thread woven into this tapestry. Here, we have a dedicated period every week to stop everything and just share. I give the floor to my students, reminding them to be open, honest, and respectful of one another. The stories they tell and the feelings they share every week are beyond amazing. Our students share stories of tremendous triumph and extreme pain. Since my first day, I have seen my students grow into wonderful young adults who transcend the assumed limitations of their zip code. Our community is a safe harbor for them to release and be supported, to fall and be helped back up, to extend beyond themselves, to build the foundation for who they are and the greatness they will inevitably share with the world. I have been called a mentor, a father, and an uncle and I cherish every connection and every bit of trust these kids place in me. I cannot call myself an educator if I didn't stand up for them in this moment. As I stated above, honesty and integrity are paramount to me in my classroom. I cannot stand before you and attest that Turning Point Academy Public Charter School is perfect. I will not say there is no area for improvement. If that was the case, we would not be here right now. I will say that our students will not find another school that supports and challenges its students the way that we do. I will say that I believe our students will not be better off in the schools they are zoned for. Our scores show that we are doing good work here. Our students come from all corners of this county and every space within. I ask that you reconsider any option that breaks apart my students' community. Allow our Turning Point family to continue to educate and elevate one another. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. CA. I appreciate that. We will now move on to speakers for non-agenda items. Our first speaker on non-agenda items is Sandra Shirley, Barnaby Manor Citizens Association, to speak on administrative procedure on after-school facilities use.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Shirley. I'm the president of the Barnaby Manor Citizens Association in Oxon Hill, Maryland. The Barnaby Manor Citizens Association, Incorporated, was registered in the state of Maryland June 12, 1964. Formed itself around 1955, the Barnaby Manor Citizens Association is a small civic community organization in Oxon Hill, Prince George's County, Maryland, and we meet the first Thursday of every month at the Barnaby Manor Elementary School on Owens Road. And we've met there for more than 60 years since the school opened. On making application to use the school for the 2017-18 year last July, we found out that the new requirement, AP 1330, would have all applicants for after-school use of all of these school facilities throughout the county have to have a $1 million in general commercial liability insurance coverage. While we are thankful for the waiver to June 30th, 2018 for meeting this new requirement, we contend that AP 1330 needs to be revised because it will devastate all small civic and community organizations throughout Prince George's County. Please note the following. 1, there was no public notice or public hearing prior to adoption or implementation. 2, while there was no notice about the adoption or implementation, the application for 2017 was our notice. What are the impacts? Throughout the county, many small and civic organizations throughout the county hold their regular meetings in the school facilities, and most have met for an inordinate amount of years, 60 plus. Most of them have no community center in their area. They're registered in the state of Maryland with bylaws, but they don't have a 501c3 or other IRS designation. The problem also is that the insurance companies require about $400 for this insurance, as well as an IRS designation. We ask that the board extend the time beyond June 30th and develop a framework for the inclusion of our community organizations. We ask that you invite all of the civic and community organizations to these public hearings, and most of all, consider forming or brokering an affordable insurance coverage, maybe about $25, $15 a year, through a cooperative insurance for all of the small county civic and community organizations that you would have required to get insurance. We implore you to take positive action on this matter as soon as possible before the June 30th deadline. Essentially, the deadline that's a death sentence for all small civic and community organizations in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Shirley. Our next speaker is Barbara Solner Webb, speaking on school facilities use.
Hello, I'm Barbara Salner-Webb, president of the West Laurel Civic Association, not surprisingly up in West Laurel. I'm a 46-year resident of the county, and our daughter excelled through all the years of Prince George's Public Schools. I've been in education my entire life. I'm a professor at Johns Hopkins University. I'm coming to you to express my great confusion. I thought that Prince George's County school systems wants to educate young people to become responsible and caring citizens. And I would hope that the Prince George's County school system would want to promote civic involvement, both because it makes the involved families want to be more involved in the school system, which is something that at least the school system's party line encourages, and because it sets a great example for the students to see and want to emulate. Additionally, it is my understanding that the citizens pay the salary of School Superintendent Dr. Kevin Maxwell and the school board and all the school staff, and it is the citizens who pay to build all the schools through their taxes. Indeed, when one says one gets a grant of Maryland state money, that is the citizens' tax money. So it's most confusing or counterproductive for the school system to want to slap on an enormous charge for civic associations and other citizen groups to continue to hold their meetings at local public school buildings, which they've done for decades. And I would like to very much thank our previous speaker for her excellent proposal of how to solve this by having group insurance that is a minimum cost to each organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So as you know, it is our policy is not to address public comment, but we can provide clarity on factual information. And on this particular issue, we've been doing some work on this issue, and so I want the administration to provide factual information about the issue on school facilities use. You do that, Dr. Maxwell?
Thank you, Dr. Eubanks. We appreciate the civic and community organizations that have been coming out and talking about the new regulation, which was put in place for some pretty important reasons. But we do understand the challenges that it is creating for some of our smallest organizations. But we've been having these conversations with our fraternities and sororities and other groups in the county as well. So we have made a decision to extend the requirement for insurance for the next school year, and we are in the beginning process of pulling together a conversation with some insurance carriers and other people about finding a way to do the cooperative insurance, if there's a way to do the cooperative insurance that was suggested by the two speakers earlier tonight. So I know we have some other people to speak on it, but we do want you to understand that we have heard the conversation, we understand the concern, and we've been having these conversations with some of our groups for a couple of months, and we have made a decision to extend it for this school year and to pull together a group that will help us navigate that issue.
Thank you, Dr. Maxwell. Thank you for that clarification. We'll move on to our next speaker, Rashida Belfield, speaking on security at Greenbelt Middle School.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rashida Belfield.
Could you hold on, Ms. Belfield? Make sure that mic is on. You push that little button. Make sure it's blue.
Push the button. It's
might have been
blue.
on already. Oh, just speak.
It's on.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Rashida Belfield, and currently I have two kids that attend the PG Prince George's County Public School Systems. And I'm just going to read you a few statements that my child and I hear, and then I'll continue. I suspended that kid for nothing. Your eye is fine today, from a security staff. Since you have your parents emailing about grades, everyone gets this a 0. A teacher. I don't care if it's an emergency. I don't care if you're bleeding menstrual blood through your pants. You will not go to the bathroom. Teacher. Teacher 2 is another student. Who is raising her? Her mother, or is she raising? Who is raising her? Is the student raising the mother, or is the mother raising the student? This is something that was said to another student by another teacher on the staff at Greenbelt Middle School. Teacher, if there's a problem in my class, why didn't you contact me? The teacher's response is, why didn't you contact me? You start everything and you're always wrong, security staff. When getting into investigation, the security supervisor has called and yelled at me several times when my daughter was assaulted and told me several times, have you followed the process? Have you followed the process? Upon saying yes, I have, he hangs up. Teachers won't put grades in and give the students failing grades for no reason when the administration is aware. The administration, you don't have an advocate. Your mom doesn't make enough phone calls. She's not an advocate for you. Oh, the suspension was overturned and nobody contacted you. My apologies. Meanwhile, my child was out of school for 3 days, didn't get to make it for work yet. That was the first quarter. Bullying, people following her on the bus is being reported, nothing's being done. These are just some of the examples of the behavior my child has been subjected to while attending Greenmount Middle School for the last 2 years. There have been many things said and done that have been very damaging to my child. With the climate that we're in, we cannot afford to continue to let our children be subject to the environments that encourage and incite riot-like school environments. Administration, security, and teaching staff have repeatedly proved that they don't have any gumption or integrity when attempting to educate the students at Greenbelt Middle. The staff bullies the students, and I have plenty of examples over the last 2 years. If there's no correction of what is going on at the top of the school, there will be chaos at the bottom, which is apparent with this school. Check the records, ask around, you'll see. These children shouldn't be subject to this. I have attended Prince George's County Public Schools, elementary, middle, and graduated. I have also been an educator for 5 years here, and I think it's something that needs to be done. I have to undo the damage that's been done. She still has 4 more years of schooling, and then I have to encourage her that she can still trust the staff and administration for her high school years. Something has to change. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Our next speaker is Belinda Queen on facility use.
Is someone going to follow up with that parent?
I have been.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good evening to the chair and the board members. I am the Honorable Belinda Queen, who has been elected by the people of the 25th District of Prince George's County to represent their needs by my voice to speak out. Yet my heart represents all the people of Prince George's County. As the Vice President of the Central Coalition of Prince George's County, a letter was sent to the CEO and some of the board members to express our members' concern on this matter of the required insurance. In saying this, I'm here tonight to speak on the outrage and dissatisfaction of the community members for this school board and a lot of your decision making. The one today I'm here to speak on is the requirement, again, as I said, about us to show our organization to have $1 million commercial general liability insurance covered. What bothers me the most of all is sitting on this board is a lot of members knowing that the civil associations around this county cannot afford it. I find this another way of you guys keeping the community from meeting, collaborating, and working together. Prince George's County Public Schools started the Parents, Family, and Community Engagement Department, yet your vision talks about, and I'm going to, you know your vision, but I'm going to read this part of your mission, which said, the mission is best accomplished through promoting relationship, theories, and customer service principles to inform best practice that encourage partnerships between family, schools, and the communities. What a slap in the face. Your mission. How dare you set a mission that you really don't stick to? How can you expect the community parents and family members to want to partner with a self-serving, one-sided organization? Part of the partnership would be to collaborate with the civil association and other nonprofits who are part of the local community. As many of our caring leaders work hard to envision Prince George's County as a livable, workable, playable, educational, many of our organizations donate paper, pencils, uniforms to help to the local schools and other funds. And we take the time to sustain our local schools. Calm down, Belinda, okay. What you don't find, or you take care of sustaining our schools in the budget, you don't do it. It's many other ways to handle this, but it's unexplainable to me why you never think of creative ways to support the community, to support the students, who will not meet this? Most of the civic association organizations only meet 6 or 7 months out of the year. In closing, as I remind each of you that you were elected and appointed to serve, I say this all the time, the citizens of this great county, you need to learn to be a light in Prince George's County as you represent. And doing this, learn to find many creative and practical ways of showing the people you represent unexpected love, patience, kindness while you're serving. May God bless you and bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Queen. Our next speaker is Carolyn Moran to speak on the principal hiring process, Whitehall Elementary. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but
No, you're fine. Hi, my name is Carolyn Brady Moran, and I stand in front of you as the prior PTA president and with the current PTA president of Whitehall Elementary. We've chosen to be direct and brief, having 3 parent leaders speak to you today and 4 parent leaders attending from Whitehall Elementary on behalf of our general PTA. We are all product of PG County Public School System, elementary, middle, and high school. So we are here to ask that you take into consideration the Whitehall community's input during our principal hiring process. Our current principal, our beloved principal, is retiring. We have a petition of over 210 signatures, 10 of them being on paper and the rest being online. And I've shared that with various people at PGCPS. And this petition is in support of our current vice principal stepping in as principal next year. Our school faces many challenges, being under-resourced and overcapacity by almost 200 children. Our vice principal has helped to create an environment that is best able to succeed under these conditions and knows all 600 of those kids. Our facilities and our resources are old, and in most circumstances, this would inhibit the potential of your students. However, our school culture and our community is so exceptional and supportive that we have found a way to succeed despite all of our challenges. Our vice principal has been instrumental in this process. For example, I saw our vice principal be so thoughtful in restructuring our lunch as our school kept growing and create a staggered lunch and a better dumping plan that had a monumental impact on my children and all of the children in our school. And it's this type of adapting that makes her best fit to fill the principal role. In addition to her administrator duties, she leads or facilitates a plethora of activities that impact all the students at Whitehall. It is essential that PGCPS be conscious of this community and our school because disruption to our processes would jeopardize everything the school has accomplished and its future possibilities. In conclusion, please allow our vice principal to continue the forward momentum that she and our principal have established at Whitehall. We have an incredibly successful and strong school, and our vice principal is the best choice to maintain the continuity of our culture and curriculum. To our CEO, I've shared an email with you and many others at PGCPS, and if you haven't seen it, I really ask that you personally read it because it cites the numerous examples of what she's done for us. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to have someone so vital to put our support behind, like Ms. Farmer, and to be able to share this with you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Candace Peters.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dr. Candace Peters, and I'm fortunate to have 2 children at Whitehall Elementary School. I have lived in Prince George's County for my entire life, and I've attended schools within the Prince George's County public school system, eventually graduating from Oxon Hill High School. I moved to the Whitehall Elementary School zone for the sole purpose of being part of the Whitehall family. I sent my oldest daughter to Whitehall knowing that the environment that our then principal fostered would allow her to be successful, challenged, and nurtured simultaneously. We have had an amazing faculty, and we were lucky to have our current principal placed at our school when our last principal left. Needless to say, our Whitehall family was saddened to learn of our current principal's retirement, and we have voiced our concerns regarding the process of choosing the future leader of our school. Our school has been recognized for its excellence on so many levels, such as the National Blue Ribbon Award in 2012, eGate in 2017, and the Science Bowl champions this year. Whitehall has above average ratings on School Digger, Great Schools, and Niche, and from the mouths of our students, parents, and faculty. In 2017, the Prince George's County Board of Education CEO was quoted by saying, "Whitehall exemplifies the gold standard of gifted and talented education in our state," and I couldn't agree more. Our school has maintained its excellent status because of our families are being involved and our teachers and leaders having the best interests of our children at heart. We request this year, just as we have requested in the past, to be included in the process of finding a new leader who will support the current faculty and staff, assist in their development and retention, as well as attract new, energetic teachers with the promise of bringing new insight to the ever-changing classroom. Once again, we at Whitehall Elementary are lucky because we have someone within our walls who has shown she has all these qualities. She is nationally board certified and has been serving Prince George's County for 23 years. She is an adjunct professor, has served in an administrative role at Whitehall for 9 years, as the vice principal for the past 2 years. She has shown that she is capable and willing to be present for our children and nurture the climate that is already in place. She has shown her ability to carry on the vision of leading our children to academic success and further development of a superior learning and working environment. Thank you for your time and for your consideration for Ms. Cynthia Farmer as the next principal for Whitehall Elementary School.
Thank you, Ms. Peters. I hope folks don't mind if I go slightly out of my order. So is LaToya Britton? She's not here? Okay. All right. Our next speaker is Rosina Simmons.
Question, would administration like to provide factual info around this like they did with the Civic Association
I don't
members?
think they have that, or I would have.
I'm just asking. If not, then it's fine, but. About Whitehall?
Nope.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Rosina. Ms. Simmons, hello.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Rosina Simmons, and I'm with the WISE PTSO, that's Dr. Henry Wise Parent Teacher Student Organization. We would like to respectfully request an increase in allocation of funds for security on campus during school hours and after school hours for events. One security officer provided is not sufficient. The school has to pay for additional coverage out of their own operating budget. These funds are needed for additional teaching staff, teacher supplies, professional development, health room supplies, cleaning supplies, and miscellaneous purchases. Overcrowded classrooms are unsafe. WISE average class size for core classes are bursting at the seams, 35 and upward. Additional funding would allow the principal to hire additional teachers and security. We currently have 7 security officers and 5 SROs to cover almost 3,000 students. I have walked the halls as a parent. The 3 years I've been there, they cannot cover 3,000 students. One SRO is purchased out of the principal's school operating budget so that she can have additional security to provide safety for our students and the staff. Staff shouldn't be allowed to enter the restrooms is a new policy. I'm against that. Students cut classes. I've been in the restrooms. They're hiding out in there because they know there are not any cameras and adults are not permitted to go into the restrooms unless it's with cause. Students need to feel safe, and we're listening to our students at our recent town hall meetings. The students don't feel safe, the parents feel unsafe, and the teachers don't feel safe. We ask that you revisit this policy so we can better protect our students and monitor the school and the restrooms at Dr. Henry Wise. Thank you so much for your time and your consideration.
Thank you so much, Ms. Simmons. Our next speaker is Ebony Voss about overcrowded classrooms.
I don't think she's here. She's with me.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Claudette Clark. Is Claudette Clark here? No.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. My comments are going to be on behalf of Prince George's County Educator Association. First and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge that I believe that many of the board members are a product of Prince George's County Public Schools themselves, and some have actually ignored the call of private schools and have children, grandchildren, and relatives who are educated in Prince George's County Public Schools. And for those who do not have those kind of connections, I'm hoping and trusting that you have the best interest of the community stakeholders, that being children, parents, staff, and community members of Prince George's County Public Schools. There's a growing lack of respect for Prince George's County educators who are on the forefront of the fight for a highly educated society. And I'm asking this board to do what is right to rid Prince George's County Public Schools of this. Because of the many audits that seem to have taken over our school system, I've noticed our frontline staff, like the counselors from Duval, who've had their employment negatively impacted. I've noticed schools across this county are suffering from lack of substitute teachers, which has resulted in teachers substituting an excessive amount of planning time hours each week and putting not only their sanity and stress levels at risk, but putting also at risk effective lessons, safe and orderly building operations. This is unacceptable. Recently, my principal informed us that financial auditors who are not in the classrooms have decided, and the principal has accepted, that teachers will no longer be paid the prohibitive $18 per hour when either a general educator or a special educator is pulled or absent from a quota classroom. The result of this decision is I am already seeing special educators being pulled from the quota classrooms to cover classes. Not only does this violate our special education children's legal IEPs, but it puts good instructions at risk. I recently completed a master's program and received a raise of $3,000, a lane increase. But I noticed from the information that was disclosed recently that one staff member who came in 2017 received a raise of $34,000. One other $50,000 increase from 2013 to 2017, another $36,000 from 2015 to 2017, another $47,000 from 2013 to, and then the list goes on. Any of these increases would actually pay off the student loan I had to get that master's degree. Clearly, it is a lack of regard for staff who are on the forefront of the fight for a highly educated society.
Dr. Eubanks?
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Dr.
Ms.
Eubanks?
Clark.
Does the administration want to respond?
Second.
So our next speaker is Brett Bracken to speak about certified vocational training. Is Brett Bracken here? Brett Bracken, are you here this evening? Thank you. Our next speaker is Phyllis Wright.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Wright. I know you said don't call no one out, but Kevin Maxwell, you got too much authority on my tax dollars. You have too many people that you giving raises
Ms. Wright.
to. That's not, no.
Ms. Wright,
That's not in the
Ms. Wright,
forefront.
it is-
These
it is-
teachers
I'm just
are
gonna ask you to
there
please
with these children.
respect our process, Ms. Wright, and say whatever
I'm not
you
being
like. Just respect our
disrespectful.
process. Thank you.
I'm not being disrespectful, and I'm
We
not
have-
going.
we have the
I'm not
procedures
going to.
in-
I'm
hold-
not
hold
going
her
to.
time, please. Hold
Mr.
her
Chair.
time. Hold her time.
Please hold her time.
Hold her time, yes, thank
She
you.
lost about 20
Yes, thank you,
seconds.
yes, we'll make sure you get every bit of your time back. I
Well,
just-
CEO.
Please respect,
Okay.
thank you, thank you. Thank
Why
you.
do we have a CEO and a superintendent? I mean, that's too much. He has too much authority. Who is his boss? Now, my tax dollars and everybody in here that works and pay taxes, tell me, please, tell me, why is it that he can give these raises and none of these people are out in the field with these children? None of these people are in these classrooms. I am a parent. I volunteer all the time. All the time. I don't see near one of you in none of these classrooms unless there's a problem, and then you don't solve the solution. So tell me, why do you need all of this money when you're not doing anything? You making this place like a corporation instead of a school system. You harming our children. You're not helping us. Fawcett, you got them in run-down, infested building. Now you're telling us to wait about the cameras. The cameras come from you all. Now you in charge of facility. They're going to throw you under the bus because they're going to say you put it in there. Now we know where the cameras came from. Now what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Teach our children. You need to be gone. Why are we paying you? I'm tired of my tax dollars going to you and you're not doing nothing. CEO, right? That's what I call him. I call him a waste of my money. That's what I call him, a waste of my money. Now, you know too. You know too. Now, all of you all should feel very, very disappointed with yourselves. Anytime you take money from these children, we got children with IPs who are not getting the proper care that they need because you people are putting the money in your damn pockets. It just don't make no sense. Help those babies. Help those children. That's what you need to do. Help. If you have a heart, I volunteer free and you pay it. Get out of here, please. You need to leave. You need to be gone.
Excuse me.
Don't excuse me. Don't excuse. Listen. Don't
I'm
you
gonna ask
excuse
you to
me.
please.
Now,
I'm gonna ask you to please
CEO,
not be.
I said
Yes.
Hold her time. Hold her time.
But
Hold her
you're gonna
time.
have to.
Point of order.
Right, you're gonna have to. I'm only gonna ask that we. Okay. All right. You get to express anything that you want to express. And I'm going to give you the time to do it, but I'm just going to ask that you respect the process and do it in a respectful way. I understand how you feel. I have a tremendous amount of respect for you. Go ahead, start the time. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wright. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Wright. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Wright. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Wright. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Wright. Thank you. Thank you. Our final speaker this evening is Andrea Christensen. Is Andrea Christensen here? I know she was on the list. We want to make sure she got properly on the list. Our friends from Whitehall? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. My name is Andrea Christensen. I'm speaking on behalf of the Whitehall PTA membership and our entire community. I'm the former Whitehall Elementary vice principal. The recent retirement announcement of our current principal was met with sadness by our entire community. Based on our previous experience with new principal selection, we also have had a wave of apprehension sweep through our community. Let me first say that I think we got really lucky with our current principal, but I don't think that luck was generated by the quality of the principal selection process here in PGCPS. I'm here tonight to urge the board to provide more clarity and transparency in how the school system goes about selecting a new principal for a school, and to demand that the families in school communities be allowed more participation in that process. My oldest child was at Whitehall when our previous principal departed. A community engagement meeting was held at the school, which I attended along with many other Whitehall parents. We discussed and listed qualities that we believed our new school leader should have, and the PGCPS administrators running the meeting took away our nice, neat chart paper lists with promises that our input, thoughts, and concerns would be taken into account during the selection process. However, the announcement of our new principal came so shortly after the meeting that we felt as though our input had been meaningless. We felt as though our concerns had been discarded, like the meeting had been a sham, a complete waste of everyone's time. There is another one of those meetings this coming Thursday at our school. I will be there, but other parents like me who were at the school for the departure of our last principal shared the feeling that this meeting is simply paying lip service to the parents while the county does whatever it wants. We got lucky with our current principal. We are extremely concerned that we will not have the same luck this time around, especially since we feel like the county administrators did not really want or use our input the last time we went through this process. We have someone in our building right now who our school community feels will be the best fit to become our new principal. Our former PTA president, who spoke earlier, mentioned that our petition has collected over 200 signatures in support of this person taking on a new role as principal. Our current vice principal has been in our building for 9 years. She has seen our school grow from a newly reopened building into one of the most sought-after elementary schools in Prince George's County. Whitehall Elementary School students achieve at the highest levels despite facing many hardships. Remember #FixWhitehallsHeat? Those hardships include an aging school building with many maintenance issues, large class sizes, and extreme overcrowding. Our building capacity is around 415 students, and our current population is 600 and growing. Our current vice principal has helped our school navigate these challenges while continuing to thrive. The strained circumstances under which our school operates could easily overwhelm someone brought in from outside our school community and throw the delicate balance we have achieved through strong school-family partnerships into turmoil. Why would you not select the current vice principal who is so familiar with the needs of the children in our school community to lead our school? Whitehall Elementary is one of the top performing elementary schools in the county. Continuity of leadership would be a logical choice to keep it that way. In closing, I would urge you to listen to the voices of the community you have been elected or appointed to serve. Whitehall Elementary families are telling you loud and clear what we want. We want the next principal of our school to be Miss Cynthia Farmer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Christensen, and thank you all for coming to public comment this evening.
Mr. Chair, point of order. A person in the audience told me that they signed up to speak, but when I got to the board meeting, I didn't see the name on the list, so I said that there was nothing that I could do. Since you just allowed this other person to speak, will you also allow?
I did not allow anybody. My board office gave me someone who was a registered speaker.
Okay, just wasn't on the on this list.
Yes, exactly. But they had been registered, but they just forgot to put them on the list.
Okay.
So I will ask that the person who registered to be sure that they deal with it. So I get to use the list that is given to me by the board staff. So this is someone who was a confirmed registered.
Ms. Chase, did you register?
I'm sorry, I can speak on behalf of the last speaker. That person was omitted from the list as an error by the board office, so we had to allow her to
I guess I'm trying to figure out, was there also another error about this other parent?
So we don't know that, but we'll investigate that. But to our knowledge, there has not been. So I'm going to go on ahead and move on to the remainder of the agenda.
Well, I mean, I believe that the parent is here, and I think 3 minutes of our time to hear from a concerned parent is a time well used. I mean, the parent told me that she signed up to speak. I don't know what happened. I have no clue.
So look, what I'm going to do, because we go down a slippery slope, and then you pull this again and again. But I'm going to allow this parent to speak. I will allow them, not in this particular case, it's like, so we can't have it so that every week this happens.
I didn't
And I got to
this.
respect my board staff because they work really hard to get this right. Now, that said, I got someone here that wants to speak. I'm going to give them their 3 minutes. So what is, do you know who the person's name is, Ms. Tate?
Yes, it is
Excuse me.
Keisha Chase.
Excuse me. Keisha
Yes,
Chase.
it is Miss Chase.
So, but I'm not going to, I'm going to put it on record now. If you're not registered to speak by the board, I'm not going to allow you to speak. But go ahead, Ms. Chase.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Burrows. I come before you today again as a concerned citizen, a parent, a taxpayer. CEO, it blows my mind that you've given all of these raises, shall we say. You have teachers that are in the trenches every day. A lot of them don't even make $47,000. They're teachers, they're mothers, they're fathers, they're mentors to our babies. Shame on you. The last meeting, I spoke, and I threw my paper down, and I said to you, here are your walking papers. It makes absolutely no sense that you can sit in front of us, this board meeting.
I'm going to ask that you speak more generally, not speak directly to folks. Just speak generally, please. Thank you.
Okay, well, you also, Mr. Chair, that
You can speak to me. I don't know. You got to speak generally.
Can I get my time back? Because you cut off people when you don't want to hear what they have to say.
That
but
is
I'm
not
gonna
true.
stop.
That is
You
not
do.
true. That is not true.
But didn't
I
you
want
say at the
to
beginning you
follow the
don't? Didn't you
procedures.
say at the
That's
beginning
all.
that
I'm
you
allowed to
don't
speak.
talk to public comment?
Continue.
So again, every month we come.
Point of order to the lawyer. Under the provision, Ms. Chase did not violate any of the rulings. It says you cannot address individual issues using profanity or
They may
derogatory.
not address individuals. So speak.
She didn't say any name.
I didn't say a name.
And
I
she
said
also
title.
didn't use
Go ahead.
profanity
Go
or
ahead.
derogatory terms.
Go
So I would
ahead.
just ask that you let her finish her statement, even if you disagree.
It's not about my disagreeing or not. Trust me. It's not. But go ahead. Continue.
Before I was rudely interrupted by the chair. We stand here and we come and we express our concerns and our opinions and different things going on in our school system. And every month it has to do with administration. Every month. We come and we say things. Last month I was here and I stated how my daughter was getting bullied by a teacher. I had a meeting here with, I believe it was the EEO lawyer. I believe that was her title. No one came to me, but when this young lady came, you sent someone over to talk to her. Shame on you again. Shame on you again. You come, and it blows my mind that you have no concern. Look at how you're even acting right now. You have no concern. We come and we pay our tax dollars, and we expect for our children to be safe. We expect for them to get an education, a great education. We do.